It's been almost 2 years of travel drought due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We were desperate for a vacation or any sense of normalcy. The sight of these planes yet again made our hearts race faster, like a kid in a candy store. Well, except we were giddy passengers waiting for boarding. Then we took off. Arriving at Leo Airport was a breeze. Arrivals area was labeled with guest names, while cookies and keys to our villa were ready even before we arrived. And the best part, we didn't have to carry our luggages. Boat transfer to the island was like a suspenseful anticipation of that first sighting. Pangulasian, our chosen home for the weekend in El Nido. You were a sight to behold. The facade of the island was very welcoming, without any discouraging confluence of guests. Sanitation points and contactless reminders were notable. Fee's reception area that yields unconditionally to that beachfront was almost a gist of a vacation that we longed for. We headed out to the secluded West Cove where Calo Villas are. We were billeted at Villa 33. That was by experience the best of them all. If you want to see what's inside this villa, look for my separate YouTube video for a special villa tour. Luxurious as Pangulasian is, it didn't fail to remind us that we cohabitated it with friends of the wild. This monitor lizard took its sweet time using the shuttle drop-off as its runway. We capped off the last evening of September with a private dinner to celebrate our birthdays and second wedding anniversary. Chef Carlos whipped up a surf and turf course as the sound of the waves seemingly serenaded our meal under the stars. Day 2 unraveled an amazing island hopping for us, with the Big Lagoon piloting the series. Traveling during pandemic does have its perks. There were only 8 of us, including Ryan, our tour guide, 4 kayaks spectating over this natural wonder, exploring even the small pocket of cave with every moment savored, unrushed. As we exited the Big Lagoon, I can't help but ruminate on this very moment. How on one hand, this pandemic crippled the world from mobility, and at the same time, how it healed Mother Earth. It's almost the perfect irony in one story. A reset, as I mentally branded it, that we are bloated with gratitude for. My musing was interrupted with the genesis of a secret. A lagoon tucked away from the rest of the seas. On our third stop, we were greeted by the turquoise waters and a backdrop of limestone formation, uniquely mini looks. If humble boatmen tell you that you're going to do jackfish feeding, you know that's only happening here at the first island that El Nido opened in 1982. We sailed on to see this perfect sandbar of Snake Island under the mid-afternoon heat. Crawled through this hole half doubting if it's even worth it, and totally lost our words thereafter. Kuyugnun Cave didn't want us to leave without its natural guard sending us off. I then heard Ryan say that we were going to see Cathedral Cave. The name somehow pushed my thoughts into a reverie to marry my husband again in a cathedral or a cave. Well, El Nido gave us both. When we reached our villa, we were greeted by two curious guests waiting for either food handoffs or videos. The island protects their natural habitat, so we were discouraged from feeding them. We spent the rest of the afternoon marveling over the privacy of Kala, and we hope that when you come to visit, the sunset will be imposing. We purposefully kept an open schedule on day 3, visited the gym, pigged out at the resto, and just basked in our il dolce far niente moments. Due to expected rain showers, staff decided to relocate dinner from beachfront to poolside for its 56 guests that weekend. The setup was romantic nonetheless. Kitchen overwhelmed us with a smorgasbord of options, mostly blessings and bounty from the sea. As dusk turned to dark, like moth to the flame, we found our way to the island spa for an ultimate respite. Only one guest at a time was allowed, given the pandemic, and services were all done face down. We broke dawn the following day at 5 in the morning to embark on a new adventure and found the beachfront at its taciturn state. Off we sailed to meet the sunrise in this exclusive cruise that we booked months prior to our visit. Chef and team ensured we were caffeine ready for the day. We changed our itinerary here last minute to enjoy the privacy of this tour and explore the small lagoon. Just when we thought we could skip it, in retrospect, we made the right decision to see this other gem. We picked up our kayaks from Minilok, and as we ushered ourselves to that small lagoon, the entire experience quelled our outdoor-deprived selves. If even at this depth we see beautiful marine life, I can only imagine what the rest of this paradise holds at abyssal distance. Leaving the small lagoon held our speech hostage, but even in that momentary silence, we were absolutely blown away. The humble interruption of breakfast took us to Entalula Island, a private beach club laced with the most powdery white sand, and just look at its clear waters. We couldn't help but take a few more photos before we finally gave in to the generous spread lovingly prepared by the kitchen. It was perfect to share some of the food with our boat crew, including Kuya Ernie, the island's lone caretaker. They then took us to a detour to some of the nearby islands, including the well-protected sanctuary for nesting turtles, hence the name Turtle Island. En route back to Pangulasian, we managed to see our Calaw Villa from the boat and visually measure its distance to the reception area. We took it all in, whispered our prayers. As the hours to check out dwindled, we knew we couldn't end this story without recognizing the very reason why we think Pangulasian is the best: its people. We were welcomed by acquaintances, but we definitely left a family. This El Nido travel bubble experience was truly one of a kind, but our Pangulasian story will last for our lifetime.